I'm Tom Hoppe, and I'm your host of the Most Painful Podcast.
Chronic pain is pain that has persisted for usually more than 90 days or 3 months.
Well, I'm a psychiatrist, so people that come to see me most likely have a mental health condition. If we're speaking in the veteran space, primarily PTSD and major depression are probably the top two.
You can be considered to have chronic pain if you have a particular procedure or an injury where you would normally expect healing to be occurring early, but it doesn't.
Up to a third would also be suffering from chronic pain.
I've seen a number of veterans, and a friend of mine, unfortunately, who took his life because he struggled.
It was actually a shock when I had to stand in line at the OHIP office in downtown Ottawa, waiting to be served and get an OHIP card.
He said to me, I thought it was like another posting, Tom, like I was being posted to another, base, and he just couldn't manage it.
I never had to do that before, so that was a sort of breach into the whole transition process.
This was the big thing that really slapped me in the face. Some of the things that we understand in non-veteran families and kids are almost totally flipped in these families.
A lot of veterans serving and or retired simply aren't aware they're treating their family like the troops.
You just talked about what is weakness?
And if you treat your family like the troops, you're going to lose that family.
The military individuals I've worked with, and veterans specifically, they have a hard time in setting meaningful goals for themselves because sometimes they are trying to put their family first or, whatever they identify as their current team and mission.
Certain populations within the veteran community are underrepresented in the research space. So women veterans is one we know is the fastest growing group of veterans in Canada.
The typical image of a veteran in Quebec, it is an elderly person in a wheelchair with a chest full of medals and who attends the November 11 parade once a year.
So we have to make sure that, we're also identifying and addressing their unique needs. And, we have to do that through research, through asking the important questions.
The image of a veteran in Quebec can be someone who is younger than 40 years old, who has developed chronic pain, and despite of his or her disabilities, tries to remain active in the society.
Access to primary care waxes and wanes. We are definitely in a waning period right now, in part due to the pandemic, in part due to demographic factors.
Regardless of what you do, does it make you feel better? I mean, that's what we're doing with our veteran program, our Alpine Challenge, is just get people moving.
And I think we're going to learn a lot about resilience in these families, actually, probably more so than risk, but still on the journey.
So if we're able to educate their healthcare providers who are not part of our clinic. And so these education programs that we do, including things like the podcast, are ways to get the message out.
Probably going to take a long time. That's why I need you guys.
The Most Painful Podcast is produced for the Chronic Pain Center of Excellence by Story Studio Network.